Good morning, everybody. And I say good morning because at the time I'm making this video, it's morning for me. I just woke up, so it's good morning time. And it's 5:38 p.m. in the afternoon. And I want to give a little bit follow-up to this post. Do the laws of physics prevent going back in time? The answer might shock you. Now, I made a 7-video playlist. This is going to be the 8th video. I want to show some follow-up onto this. Now, some of these posts have been cleaned up since I've reported 2 of these posts, and they were removed. Piddlefoot went by, cleaned up some of his posts, and then he cleaned up a couple other posts that were political and off topic. And he's going to be in for a bad time. I'll give context to that. But I'm doing a quick scroll down so that you may be able to see and compare with any old posts. And there's 8 new posts to this topic since I went to bed. But this is about where we left off. Does time cause gravity? And then I mentioned how that's so absurd. Then Piddlefoot's response: without time, there is no movement. And with no movement, there are never any atoms, whatever that means. Now, I've already spoken with about 2 or 3 of my friends about this. Well, I spoke with 4 people about it. And one of them respectfully was like, hey, you know, I'm not trying to get wound up in this drama. It's not my business. And I'm like, cool. That's why I spoke with you in private about it. But the other 3 people I spoke with, they had something to say about it. And specifically, on this one point, it's kind of the other way around, Piddlefoot. You can't measure time without movement. Causation does not equal, it's a causality fallacy. He's going to get mixed up. And in somebody else's words, Piddlefoot is a industrial worker type trying to hang out with the quote-unquote university types. Now, that's what a friend of mine said, and I agree with it, but let it be known, I'm not a university type. I didn't go to college to get dumber. I didn't go to college to put myself into $250,000 into debt to get a useless degree that I couldn't use to get a job. No, I continued to educate myself to the best of my ability, and you can take that for what it is. But I agree. And it's like, hey, man, you know, if you don't know something, there's nothing wrong with it. And if you're an idiot, and I can be an idiot. If you're an idiot, you know, there's no fault in being an idiot. That's just the way you are. But, man, when you're a smug idiot, when you're wrong and you really think you're right, it's like, But Piddlefoot gave a response, and this is the main thing. Can you think of an experiment or a way to demonstrate your statement? Can you make a controlled environment and remove time from it to see if all movement ceases? And Piddlefoot backtracked and backpedaled and sidestepped and somersaulted and deflected, and he started going on about time dilation, and I'm like, bruh, what are you calling people champ? This whole topic is not about time dilation. It's about, do the laws of physics prevent going back in time? And I'm like, yes, you're right. You cannot go back in time because the laws of physics prevent you from doing that. So Piddlefoot sidesteps and he's like, ooh, time dilation exists. I'm like, okay, cool. But what does that have to do with your topic of going back in time? And what does that have to do with my proposed experiment of removing time from a controlled environment to see if movement ceases? Because you see, time dilation is time slowing down or speeding up depending on your motion and your distance that is relative to a point of perspective. That's not time travel. Time travel is going back in time. It is reversing the flow of time. Time dilation is slowing down or speeding up. And you might be thinking to yourself, why, gee, that's a good response. Why didn't you type it out? Why are you making a video about it? I'll show you. So I'm going to scroll down, and my response to this chunk of text from Piddlefoot is pretty simple. Could you try all that again without being condescending towards me? As in, answering my questions without deferring to Google or other people's statements. Answering in your own words. Could you stop seeming to assume things about me unless otherwise stated, blah, blah, blah. And post number 24 in my videos that I made previously was where we left off, but Piddlefoot's been censoring himself a little bit. And Ravian's post and Remnar's posts have been removed. I hope they weren't punished. They were just, that's not the kind of thing to where it's like, I want Ravian banned from EGS forums. I'm like, no, I don't want him banned. I don't want him suspended. I just wanted his post removed for bringing up fucking politics. It's like, Jesus Christ, leave politics out of it, please. I'm on a video game forum. So Piddlefoot, well, it wasn't meant to be condescending, so I apologize if it came across that way. The whole point of Google so that you can learn for free. It only costs time. That was not meant as an insult, mate. That's a tool you should use. Whether he means this apology or not, I give him a little bit of credit. I'm like, okay, he apologized. Cool. So, this is what happened. I don't have any respect for Piddlefoot, but I'm like, if he can be decent, if Piddlefoot can be decent, so can I. So I extend an olive branch. There is so much value in what you have to say. I'd enjoy being able to speak with you at length and leisure about time, and perhaps other things in general. Too often, disagreement can be taken as more than what it is. I speak at length and discuss to gain knowledge and perspective and listen to others, not to proclaim I have the answers. There's a lot of good content in this thread. I've enjoyed it. And he responds to that. Well, forget everything else then and just discuss the topic, which I was discussing the topic. He gave me an experiment. I gave you an experiment. You asked for one experiment that proves time is real. I gave you time dilation experiments we have done in satellites, blah, blah, blah. Except I didn't ask for time dilation experiments, and we're not trying to prove that time is real. The topic is, can you go back in time? And my specific request of my experiment I requested him to make was not prove that time dilation exists. No, I asked Piddlefoot if he could, create a controlled environment and remove time from it to see if all movement ceases. And he didn't do that. Man, so let's scroll down. Man with no name. Well, that video I linked is part of a series discussing this exact topic. Edit. Einstein's theories and time dilation, that is. Not traveling back in time. Notice that edit he made. That edit is very important. My response to him, which is also edited, precisely. This topic isn't about time dilation. It's about going back in time. It's literally in the OP's title. And I'm going to wrap this up with another video.